Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Leeds have just won 3-1 at Elland Road over Hull City in a game where we didn't particularly play well, but we ended up getting the result. So make sure you hit that big red button that just flashed up down below because that really helps me out. But we're back up to second in the table after the earlier wins by Leicester and then Ipswich in the 97th minute in that game. You just thought, oh no, is it one of those situations? Is it one of those situations where Leeds aren't just going to be able to get the job done? And it felt like that because whilst we went 1-0 up and Byram got that goal at the back post, we never seemed like we were in control in that first half. We never did. And we conceded a goal and it was just disappointing because I could see it coming. Everybody in the chat could see it coming. We weren't playing well. We were stretched defensively. We didn't seem to have any ideas trying to play forward. It was worrying at times how little we created. And then we did create a big chance and Bamford missed it. Thank God that we went on to win that game because poor Bamford would have got absolute dog's abuse online. But we went on to win the game 3-1 in the end. It's a great result for us because it was a game where we didn't play great. We really didn't play great. Their goal... We could have done better. I mean, Joe always says this. People try to put one portion blame to one person, but Joe always says, look, you have to look at every single thing that led up to it. And again, we gave the ball away when they tried to come forward. Nobody tackled Morton on the edge of the box, which allowed him to go around, which dragged everybody out of position, which meant that Rodon was kind of in no man's land. Ampadu didn't manage to get across his man. He should never have allowed Fabio Carvalho to get across him at the front post. But it didn't matter in the end because we went on to win the game. Of course, we got that penalty late on, Somerville going down the line. And as he cut back inside into the box, he was wiped out and it was a stone wall penalty. But we did create stuff before that. Matteo Joseph came on and then he hit the post very quickly. There was some saves by the goalkeeper and really we should have had more than one goal before that point. But of course, eventually, Somerville gets brought down in the box, and there's an argument. There's an argument between him and Joel Piroux, and in the end, the captain Ampadu has to come over and say, "Joel, just let him take it." And Somerville slots it right down the middle. Which, after doing that, you've got to have a set on you, haven't you, to put it down the middle, and he did. Somerville put it straight down the middle. Made it 2-1, and after that point, we're just trying to hold on, really. We brought on Jayden Anthony. Before that, we brought on Jayden Anthony to replace Kamara, I think it was in the end. I don't know, there was some confusing substitutions in this game, but in the end, it was enough. What I want to talk about a little bit is the fact that Matteo Joseph came on and did really well. I think he was more lively than Bamford. He got himself into more attacking positions and opened up more space for himself, and also I think when he came back he helped out defensively as well, so I'm happy with Matteo Joseph's performance. I would be happy to see more of him maybe earlier on in game, 60th 65th minute. He got a lot of time today. He got from the 20th minute to the 98th minute, which was about 30 minutes, which is a lot more than he usually gets. So happy with Matteo Joseph in the end, and Dan James, that goal at the end, you never ever see, do you, when the keeper goes up for a corner to try and score, you never see that the other team goes up the other end and scores. It's like a thing that rarely ever happens. But we managed to do it. The ball was cleared. Piroux passed it to Dan James, and Dan James just thought, I'm just going to get this first time from like the halfway line, pretty much, almost just inside their half, and he hits it from miles out, and it goes in. And yeah, everybody goes mental in the stands because, of course, the goalkeeper wasn't back, but still scoring from the halfway line is ridiculous. And Leeds ended up winning 3-1 in a game where you could say that it flattered us. Liam Rosinia's Hull, I think, were a decent side, and they actually didn't allow us to play the game that we wanted to play. They pressed us high. They didn't allow us to play through them, which was something that we struggled with when creating things, which also I think is why we struggled, because we didn't have Gruev in there. And I think if we have Gruev in there, you've got more of an outball, because he's more of a holding midfielder who comes and picks it up off the defence, whereas your Archie Grays and your Glenn Kamaras of the world are a bit more box-to-box number 8. So we lacked that holding midfielder, but when you looked at the bench, there's nobody to come on and replace that. So you had to stick with Kamara and Gray the whole time. Or your only other option is to bring on Cooper at left centre-back and put Ampadu in midfield, which, of course, didn't work against Watford, and we were all saying, don't do that again. So I think it's important that we don't that we don't dwell too much on this game, because whilst it wasn't a vintage Leeds performance of this season, we did get the points, and that's all that matters. With Leicester and with Ipswich winning, of course, Southampton losing as well, we go another 3 points away from Southampton. So it really is kind of looking like it might be a 3-horse race now. Southampton do have a game in hand, but it'd take a lot for them to catch us 3 within these games. But Leeds, of course, now go up into second place. Like I said, this game was weird because you couldn't really... I don't know how much critiquing I can do of individual players, because I think the way that Hull came to play, I think they did really well. They stopped us playing our game, and really the players that we had did the best they could. I think if we had more of our players fit, then you play Roberts at right back, and therefore allowing Byram to play left back or to be on the bench to be an option. And I think you've got Gruev, who plays in the midfield. He'd start if he was fit. And then you've got Nonto as well, who's an option to come on the wing for Dan James or for Somerville or for whoever. And he's even potentially a striking option as well, or a number 10 option. Like, we're missing some players that could play a really big role. So I think to critique the team that played too much would be a little bit unfair, because on the bench... Or to critique Farker for this game, I think wouldn't be too fair, because he hasn't got really the options that he would want to use from the bench to actually be able to make this team play the way he wants it to play. Like I said, without a holding midfielder, you're playing 2 number 8s in there, which is a fairly not defensive way of playing. I know Archie Gray's done a lot of defending at right back, but still he's not an out-and-out holding midfielder. A couple of people suggested Charlie Crew, but he's so young and has never even played for the first team before. I don't think it would be fair to throw him into a situation like this. But we got the job done, and that's all that matters. In a championship winning season or a title winning season of any sort, of any club, there are games like this, and for us to win it 3-1 rather than just scrape a 1-0 or something like that, or draw it, look, we're still unbeaten in the last 15 games. We're still unbeaten this calendar year in the league. We're still unbeaten at home. We're doing really, really well. We've only conceded 6 goals this calendar year as well. So still, that's really, really good. Even having considering that we've conceded 3 goals in the last 2 games, we've come out of this sticky spell and we've won one of them and drawn one of them. So that's not too bad. That really is not too bad. What we need to do is concentrate on going into the next game and make sure that we do go ahead and win that one, because if we can, I think we're out of this sticky patch then. But the only thing that concerns me, like I said, is the injury. So Gruev, we have no timescale on that yet. Somebody said it might be like 3 weeks. We just don't know. And you need Nonto and you need Roberts and those players back. So I'm just praying for them to come back as quickly as possible. But we have got the job done on this Easter Monday. So I hope everybody had a good bank holiday weekend, and we'll see you in the next live watch along on the next video, wherever it may be, but make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. And of course, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Leeds Lately.